Today we're here to talk about genetics. Why do some people seem to be losing a ton of weight on GLP-1s and then other people not so much? The drug works for most people. Let's start by saying that. But could genetics influence how it works and if it's going to work for you better than it works for your sister or for somebody even more genetically far from you, like your friend? We got new studies, new data on how genetics can influence your GLP-1 treatment. So we all have that friend that can eat a ton and just doesn't gain in weight. That is like the most frustrating thing for me. It was always a lifelong dream to be that person that can just stay skinny and like eat everything they want and not even have to think about nutrition. It's not that I want to eat a bunch of trash, but I just hate that I have to think about it on a daily basis since God knows when, like since I can remember. But some people seem to never gain weight, and that's bizarre, but it's genetics, right? So does that translate to how GLP-1s work? If you look at the results, at the data, some people respond to GLP-1s extremely well. Some people don't even feel the effects. Some people feel a little bit, some people feel a lot, some people have so many side effects, they cannot stand it. And some people can't take one GLP-1 but not the other. Some people can't take Zepbound but not wegovy. Before we get into the genetics data, make sure to like and subscribe so you keep getting more content like this. So that has been a big puzzle. Why does it work so differently for different people? And now we have the data. And this is really important stuff because I feel like there's so many videos here talking about how much people lost on, let's say, Zepbound, which is a drug I take. Then you see new users, people that are starting and they're not losing so much weight, and they look and they're like, oh my God, everyone's losing tons of weight. What's happening to me? Like, is this not for me? You got to hold on because this is not the same for everyone. It could take you more time to get there. You might not be doing anything wrong. These numbers that you see out there, even on the studies, they're averages. They are not what everyone is experiencing. I have some data here that talks about the results in one of these drugs, one of these GLP-1s. So the average weight reduction was 10.2%, but the outcomes of the people were not 10.2%. They were all over the place. So a small group lost more than 25% of their body weight, while a bigger part of the group lost less than 5% or even gained weight. So this is why this is so confusing, because you see on the news this, you can lose up to 22.5%. This is an average. And some people will lose more, some people will lose less, some people will not lose. So you got to understand that there is a genetics play here. One of the biggest studies yet just came out where researchers looked at over 27,000 GLP-1 users, and they looked for genetic variants and the treatment outcome. And what they found is that a variant in a specific gene, GLP-1R, which is the gene that is the receptor for what these drugs target, that was linked to greater weight loss. But that doesn't mean that genetics dictate everything. What this explains is just why there's such difference between two people taking the same drug and why your results are not going to be exactly the same as the average or as everyone else's. And maybe in the future, we're going to have a more genetics tailored medication or treatment. So maybe ozempic will be better for people with a gene variant X and Zepbound for gene type Y. As these studies progress, as we get more data, we're going to be able to better understand what's going on and why these genes are important and how can we work with that? How can we make medication that is good for everyone? Or maybe it's different types of medication for different types of genes. It's the same thing with other medications. Sometimes a headache medication works well for you, but another one doesn't. Maybe that's what's going to happen in the future for GLP-1s. It's not always the case that the problem is what you're doing. I talk a lot here on my videos about what are the mistakes you could do on a GLP-1 treatment. Actually, I'm going to add a video up here about that. But sometimes that's not it. Sometimes you are not losing weight because of genetics, and sometimes you just need some more time or a different drug. With time, you're going to have even more options. There are so many drugs coming to the market. It's hard to keep up. So if this is not working for you, if what you're taking is not working for you, try to switch. And if nothing that's on the market is working for you, don't worry. There's new medication that's currently being tested and soon in the next couple of years will be on the market. And maybe that's the one that's right for your gene type. An interesting thing about this study is also that it also found that a different gene variant was linked to, guess what? Side effects. And side effects could be the reason why people quit these drugs. So this shines a light on why some people have so many side effects. It's not just about what you eat and what you do. It could be your body, and it could be that you have to try a different medication. And if you have the very intense side effect, obviously, I'm not talking about going to the hospital intense. If you have going to the hospital intense, please talk to your doctor. Turn off this video right now. You need to go to the doctor. This medication should not be that intense. But if you have, and I'm not a doctor, by the way, I like to state that. I just talk about my experience and my research. But if you have side effects that are bothering you, they are intense, manageable, but intense, and you need some help with dealing with them, I have tons of videos on side effects. They're all on my GLP-1 playlist. I'm going to put it somewhere up here. On this playlist, I talk about so many things that I use throughout my GLP-1 journey. This is my second time taking a GLP-1, so I've done the homework. I have made the mistakes. I have learned from them. So by now, I understand very well how this works for me. For example, I know I have to take protein, so I take a lot of protein supplements because I cannot eat enough protein. I cannot have protein for dinner. It makes me feel sick, or at least if it's in the form of a steak or too much meat, I just can't do it. So what I do is I eat my protein at lunch, and then throughout the day, I like to take little protein shakes. I like to take super coffee protein in the morning. And then throughout the day, I take collagen peptides. I take the one from Vital. That's the brand. And I have some protein shakes that I like. There's an Optima Nutrition one. I'm going to put everything down in the description. And these things make my life better. Also, hydration, very important. I take Ultima Replenisher. That's an electrolyte drink. Benefiber in the morning, every single morning, because I had a constipation scare. Somewhere on that playlist, you will be able to hear what happened to me, and it was too much. So I take all these things, and most of them I take every day so that my experience is better. Maybe I have a gene variant that makes me feel a little bit a certain way with these medications, but I just know that the routine that I created makes it so much better for me, so much easier. If you want to buy any of these products, please use my links, please. I'm not going to tell you to buy anything that I don't use. And the links just help me make some money so I can keep the channel alive. Another thing also, before I forget, I don't know why I got on this rant here, but let's just keep going because this is important. I'm talking about side effects here, and I'm passionate about side effects because I hate them. So make sure to write everything in a diary. If you have a bad side effect, if you feel nausea today, write down what you ate last night and what you ate before the nausea. This has helped me immensely because you're going to forget. You're not going to know where your sensitivity comes from. And if you write these things down, you're going to see things repeat, and you're going to understand what foods work for you, what things make you feel bad. Sometimes the supplements can make you feel bad too. Some people cannot take a fiber supplement. They feel gassy. They feel disgusting. So you have to write down when you have these symptoms. You don't have to keep a food diary. Like, I don't like things that take too much of my time. So I don't like to write everything I eat. What I do instead is when I feel a symptom, then I write down what I ate before so that I can compare if I feel that symptom again, and I can make links what could have caused it. And before we end this video, I don't want you to lean on the genetics to just blame everything on it. My dogs are barking. Oh my God, I'm about to get a second one. Look. Oh, you're not on the camera. Oh, there's one here too. They want to say hi. Can you relax, please? So I don't want you to leave this video thinking that, okay, genetics, I don't have to do anything. It's not working because of genetics. No, you got to make sure that you're doing these things right. You got to make sure that you're eating healthy, that you're following the rules, because if you just make yourself a victim of genetics, then this is definitely not going to work for you. So always keep an eye on how this works for you, how it affects your body. I'm going to add up here a video that shows how to maximize your GLP-1 results. So if you're interested in getting better results, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you when I learn some new stuff.